Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Top SST. More questions from the chapter Outcomes of Democracy. Okay, the first question. On what factors that the country's economic development depend? So this is your keyword, economic development. Okay, so 2 marks question. So country's economic development, you have already learned in the first chapter from economics, that is development. What are the different factors which are responsible for the economic development of the country? So in democratic politics also, this is one topic, outcomes of economic development. Okay, so here you need to understand first what are the factors which which contributes to the economic development of the country. So country's population size. Okay, what is country's population? Whether the population is asset for the country or it is a liability. Its global situation, how we stand, cooperation from other countries, okay, how we cooperate or how they cooperate with us, what is the relationship between different countries, economic priorities adopted by the country. What are the economic priorities? Whether they have taken the problems as their priority or something else. That also makes a very important aspect for the economic development. So this question can come for 2 marks. It depends on the question, how much point they will ask you. If they ask you 4 points, then each point will be for half marks. And if they ask you for 2 points, then each point will be 1 marks. As I always suggest, it's always better to club 2 points together if they are asking you 2 points and write 4 points into 2 points. Country's population size and global situation plays a very important role for the economic development of the country. Cooperation from other countries and economic priorities which are adopted by the country is also very important. So you can club 2 points together and you can write your answer. What is political equality? Just now we have learned about the economic equality. Let's move into the political equality. 2 marks question. So they are asking you, what do you understand by political equality? If you remember in my last video, I have made very clear, I have made you very clear that what you understand by economic, political and social. So when we talk about economic, we are talking about money. We are talking about credit in the country. And when we are talking about political situation of the country, here we are talking about votes. Okay, we are talking about rights. We are talking about election and other things. All this comes under the politics. Social, under the social, it is rich, poor. What is what are the social, what is the whether the society goes with the discrimination or it is non-discriminative society. So that all aspects comes under the social issues. So now we need to look into what is political equality. So political equality refers to the equality of each citizen's individual rights. As I told you, rights, votes, liberty, everything comes under the political aspect. So political equality refers to the equality of each citizen's individual rights and liberty. In politically equal society, all the citizens are equal. Okay, no citizens who are unequal socially or financially still possesses identical voting rights. Whether, suppose for example, if I take an example of A person and B person, A is very rich, B is very poor. Okay, we know that there is a ultra rich person and there is a gap between the rich and the poor, but still A also possesses only one voting right and B also possesses only one voting right, to have the right to expect equitable treatment under the law. Okay, so these all comes under the law. So according to the law, whether the person is rich or poor, everyone is equal. Okay, and everyone gets only one voting right. So that is called as political equality. What is economic inequality? How does it prove harmful for the successful of democracy? So we have already learned what are the factors which are responsible for economic development of the country. So now, when we have talked about the economic development of the country, you need to understand what is economic inequality. This alone can come for 2 marks. This can come for 2 plus 1 or 1 plus 2. Okay, either way. So what is economic inequality? It means where the society is divided into two segments. One is rich class and one is poor class. So it means split of the society between rich and poor classes. The rich class enjoys all the facility of the life and lead a very good standard of living. Okay, rich gets everything and poor are not able to meet the meals of 2 times in a day. It is so difficult that they are not able to eat a proper balanced diet food one meal in a one day. Okay, itna mushkil ho jata hai ki they are not able to sustain their life. They are unable to fulfill their basic necessities. Okay, what are the basic necessities? That is food, shelter and clothes, and that is also not there with them. So what happens in economic inequality? Society kya ho jati hai, दो भागों में बढ़ जाती है, एक जो rich होता है और एक poor. Okay, and gap इतना बढ़ जाता है कि rich enjoys everything in their life where poor is not able to get a single meal, proper meal in a day. Harmful for the economic inequality. Success of democracy is in the ego among the rich people while inferiority complex among the poor. And emotional outbursts are seen in the type of strikes, murder, डकैती होती है, क्लास कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स होते हैं. सो दीज ऑल आर द आउटकम्स. ओके, दीज वी कैन से दैट द आउटकम्स व्हेन इनइक्वालिटीज आर देयर. सो वहां पे इमोशनल आउटब्रेस्ट कैसे निकलता है? स्ट्राइक्स करते हैं, मर्डर करते हैं, डकैती डालते हैं, चोरी करते हैं, क्लास कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स होता है. सो दीज आर ऑल आर द हार्मफुल इकोनॉमिक इनइक्वालिटी. I hope you are understanding what is. So economic development, as हमने क्या पढ़ा था, economic development depends on population, size of the place, then global situation, cooperation from other countries, economic priority. ये सब चीजें रहेंगी तो इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट होगा. ओके, सपोज अगर मेरा ग्लोबल सिचुएशन और ग्लोबल कनेक्ट विद अदर कंट्रीज अच्छा है तो आई गेट लेटेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी, आई गेट देयर विल बी लाइक फ्री फ्लो ऑफ गुड्स और द फॉरेन डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट ज्यादा से ज्यादा होगा. इफ द पॉपुलेशन इज मोर ऑफ एसेट रादर देन द लाइबिलिटी, द कंट्री विल प्रॉस्परस मोर. सो इकोनॉमिक इनइक्वालिटी उसका ऑपोजिट. इनइक्वालिटी में क्या होता है? रिच एंड पुअर दो सेगमेंट में बढ़ जाते हैं. Trace any two provisions of Indian government to eradicate caste inequality. Okay, how the Indian government can eradicate the caste inequality? 2 marks question. No parliamentary. सबसे पहले तो parliament में constitution में nowhere it is written that there will be like there is a caste system or one caste is going to get a priority than other caste. No caste discrimination. Okay, our constitution clearly says that on any ground there should not be any caste discrimination. So every candidate and the party needs to win confidence more than one caste to win the election. This is one provision which is made under the constitution where every candidate, majority of one single caste, so every candidate and the party needs to win the confidence of more than one caste to win the election. Second, many political parties put their candidates from the same caste. क्यों वो डालते हैं same caste से? So that it will be easy for the caste people to believe his or her own caste person dominates the election results in a particular constituency. Okay, so this is again the trick of political party. वो उस जगह में उसी अपने कास्ट बंदे को क्यों खड़ा करते हैं? क्योंकि they know that if उनके कास्ट का बंदा होगा तो that caste people will cast vote for him or her. So this is again like parliamentary in the constitution they have made the provision, but how the political tricks plays. Democracy has promoted the dignity of women. Justify the statement or explain. Again, this will be 2 marks question. Democracy has promoted the dignity of women because, this will be your first point, in a democracy, all citizens, irrespective of their gender, as considered equal. Second point, women are considered as an equal citizen and not inferior to the men. Third point, your third point will be women has the equal voting rights as men in the democratic country. Okay, in our country also men and women both are equal, though in our constitution there is mandate provision has been made for the women. A women in a democracy can choose their own profession. Okay, I want to become a teacher, I had become a teacher. Okay, so like that, every woman has a right to choose her profession. Examine the political outcomes. We have learned economic outcomes, we have learned social outcomes. Now we are learning political outcomes of democracy. 3 marks question. In a democratic government, democratic is responsive and legitimate form of the government. I have already taught you about what is responsive and legitimate government. So democratic government is responsive, legitimate, and accountable to the citizen of the country. Collectively, they are responsible and accountable to the people. Democratic government promote free and fair elections. Democracy also promotes in decision making. It generates its own political support of itself. Okay, so out of 5, you can write any 3. I will suggest you to club these 2 points together. If it is a 3 marks question, democratic government is collectively responsible, accountable, responsive, and legitimate form of the government. Second point, democratic government promote free and fair elections. Democracy, third point, democracy promotes decision making in the processes and mechanisms of governance. And fourth point, it generates its own political support for itself. What are the economic outcomes of democracy? Rather than economic growth and development, democracy can reduce economic disparities. This is because when a country achieves economic growth, wealth is equitably distributed among all the citizens for leading a better life. So when the economic growth and development happens, what is like, they are talking that democracy can reduce the economic disparities. What is economic disparities? Where rich and poor is being divided. Rich earns more and more, rich enjoys more and more, whereas poor is badly hit in the democratic countries. So when the economic growth is taking place or the development is taking place, democracy can reduce the economic disparities. Okay, so how they can wealth is equally distributed among all the citizens for leading a better life. Eradication of poverty by government programs and policies, one of the very, very important aspects. Economic growth and development is slow in democracy, and it is proved that in a democratic country, economic inequality is not being reduced. Okay, so it is very slow in process. Next one, examine the forms of economic inequality. Now they are talking about forms. Okay, as I told you before also, the inequality, when we talk about the form, what are the different forms? So the first one, a small number of ultra rich who enjoys everything. The have nots, that is the poor, they are totally depends on income. The poor constitute a large proportion. The have nots have a very little to depend on, their incomes has been declining. The poor constitute a large proportion of the voters, and no party would want to lose their votes. Yes, democratic government do not seems to be keen addressing their problem, unemployment. Okay, so these are the different forms. One is the ultra rich who enjoys, the have nots, then poor constitute a large proportion of the voters, and unemployment. So these are the 4 forms. Again, this will be for 2 marks, not more than that. Next one, how is social diversity accommodate in democracy? We have learned what is social diversity, but how it has been accommodated. No society can fully and permanently resolve the conflict. It's very difficult. Okay, हम बोलते हैं disparity हट जाएगा everything, but it is very, very difficult परमानेंटली उसको एरेडिकेट करना, बट वी कैन इन्वॉल्व मैकेनिज्म, बट हम पॉलिसीज बना सकते हैं, एक मैकेनिज्म बना सकते हैं. देयर शुड बी वन नेगोशिएशन व्हिच कैन रिड्यूस द डिफरेंसेस, एबिलिटी टू हैंडल सोशल डिफरेंसेस, divisions and conflicts. Belgium is the best example. We have learned in the chapter 1 power sharing how Belgium has come with the differences and where they have negotiated with the ethnic groups. Democracy is not, this is your example. When they have asked for the example, you should provide one example. Democracy is not fully ruled by majority opinion. The majority always needs to work with the minority. Otherwise, kya problem hoga? Sri Lanka wala problem aa jayega. Where, like, you know, we have learned that in Sri Lanka, what happened? Majority started ruling, civil war happened in the country. So it's very important that majority and minority needs to work together. Majority does not, that's what they are telling. Majority rule does not mean a rule by majority community or religion or race or linguistic. Rule by majority means everyone needs to be a part of the system. Democracy remains democracy only as long as every citizen has a chance to be being in a majority of the same point of time. This question can come for 5 marks. If not, 2 marks. 3 marks. Okay, this is not the 2 marks question, but they can ask you 2 marks also. So if you have learned for 5 marks, it is very easy to convert the 5 marks into 2. The ideals, principles, and norms of the democracy require certain conditions to be implemented, justify. Okay, again, it's a very important question and it is a 5 marks question. Okay, so as I told you, if you learn 5 marks question, it is very easy to write 3 marks. 1 point nikal diya, 3 marks ka question ho gaya. Or if you write everything also, they will not deduct your marks. Democracy is the rule of the people, by the people, for the people. Okay, so it's a very simple. We know that what is democracy? Of the people, by the people, for the people. हमारे लिए है, हमने किया है, हमने बनाया है. Okay, so of the people, by the people, and for the people. The representatives of the people carry on the work of administration. Some conditions are required for implementation. Okay, some condition requires some implementation. ऐसे ही नहीं हो जाता है. So what are they? For an ideal democracy, both the rulers and the ruled should be responsible. हम हमेशा बोलते हैं democracy, democratic country है और political party, they are not giving. But what is our responsibility? Okay, our responsibility also have some values. Okay, so it's very important that in a democratic country, the rulers as well as the ruled should be, okay, everything should be responsible enough. The ruler should take up the policies of welfare of the people since they have been chosen by the people. The ruler should not misuse their power, or they should not misuse the public money. Public money should not be underutilized, or public money should not be waste. It should not be misused. It should be used at the optimum level. The people who are ruled have to make the right choice of representative. For this, they have to be aware of the policies of the government and know all about the leaders. The people must understand their responsibility. Abhi maine aapko bataya tha ki the people, it should be both the side. Okay, we should always, like, you know, it's very easy to put a blame. हम हमेशा बोलते हैं, okay, एक, like, you know, zero पे out होके चला गया. But have we ever tried to be a part of that match? No. So it's very easy sitting at other corner of the pitch and, like, you know, just giving our own commentary. It is not going to help. We have to, like, you know, we as in citizen, we should also take our duties at the priority. We should also use our responsibility. We should also understand our responsibility and rights, and we should use our rights in the proper manner. It's very important. So I hope you have understood. Tomorrow again, we will be meeting with a few more questions from outcomes of democracy, and tomorrow the chapter will be completed.